Thanks very much for everybody joining us on the call today. I think there's about 20 participants on the call, including, not including Edwina and Caroline. So today's webinar is called Accelerate You in 2022. Planning is key to a successful year. This is something that I was keen to do this year. I think it's always a great time to plan the whole year in January and sort of set a plan. And I reached out to Edwina recently because I think with our events in the chamber, we are going to launch our full year plan around the 1st of February, but just with the whole Omicron situation, we weren't sure if we could do in-person events or not, so we decided to go ahead with this event. So quite last minute, about 10 days ago, I reached out to Edwina and asked her would she deliver the session, and like Edwina does, she said yes, but like myself, she can't say no. It's two great speakers we have today to lead the session. I'll hand over to them shortly. So firstly, with Caroline O'Donovan, executive coach and speaker, and she's recently retired from a 20-year career with AIB NI, where she worked as a branch manager for the last 4 years, and she's currently working towards a level 7 executive coaching with the leadership of the Institute of Leadership and Management. And she's currently a mentor with women in business and is very passionate about the subject of goal setting and believes that taking action and being consistent our goals can be achieved. Edwina, I'm sure most of you know Edwina, was the CEO of Wood Innovations, who are an importer and distributor of wooden flooring and accessories based in Warrenpoint, and she leads a team of over 30 across 2 sites in Ireland and Great Britain. She's over 26 years experience in leadership and management with a proven track record of goal setting and achieving her targets. She's an accredited executive coach and speaker, and she's also recently become the Vice President of Newry Chamber of Commerce and was elected at our AGM in December. So huge congratulations, Edwina, for that. And I'm sure today's session will be great for everybody participating. So I'll hand over to Caroline and Edwina now to take you through the session. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Tony, for that introduction and your warm welcome this morning too. I'm just going to share my screen here. While I am doing that, could I ask you maybe just to put in the chat box where you're all zooming in from today, this morning? We've got Newry, Straver, Newry, Donaghcloney, Lisburn, Banbridge, all around the district here. Very good. Okay, I am still sharing viewing Tony's screen here, so I'm just trying to. That's cool. So Tony has stopped sharing. Okay, so loads of different locations here today, which is great. Well, this morning, I'm just going to talk you through having the right mindset before we even consider what goals we want to achieve and work on. And then Edwina, she's going to actually go through the planning and tips for ensuring that we do achieve our goals. Now, goal setting is a really passionate subject for myself and Edwina. And for any of you that know us, you will always see us if you're out and about on a Saturday morning, or if you're on social media, you'll see the two of us doing a wee 5K up the towpath on a Saturday morning. And there we are there. That was taken last July. And when we get our wee 5K done, we'll come back down and we stand at the wall and we're taking turns to make the coffee. And we bring our diaries with us. We reflect on the previous week of goals that we wanted to achieve, and we plan ahead for the week ahead. So that's us. I think that might have been taken last June, and I think we're smiling so furiously there because we just achieved our goals for the first half of last year of 2021. I think that's when that one was taken. So indeed, I don't think I would have achieved a lot of my goals without my accountability buddy Edwina from last year either. So it definitely does pay to get an accountability body to keep you in check. And hopefully tomorrow morning, if the weather holds up, we'll be back out and setting goals and achieving goals for 2022. And indeed, just on that note, we've already achieved one of our goals today. We had hoped to do a joint webinar at some stage in 2022 I just didn't realise it was going to be so soon. So there we go. We've already smashed the goal, and it's only the 21st of January. So I think we deserve a pat on the back for that, Edwina. So just on the subject of goals and ambitions planned for 2022, could you just put in the group chat if you have planned any goals for this year, or if you're thinking of doing it? Yes. Yeah, there's a few yeses coming in there. Yeah. Well, hopefully we might be able to give you a few more tips, and for anybody who hasn't planned yet, well, hopefully you'll get a few tips from us today too. So would they be, just put in the chat there, their personal goals or business goals? P for personal, B for business, or maybe P and B for both. Yeah, everybody's doing a bit of both. That's what I thought. But that's the one thing I love about January. Yeah, both. Very good. So that's the one thing I love about January, is that when I'm starting off, I've got a blank canvas, and I get to decide how I want to map out my goals for the year. Because when we don't plan goals for the year ahead, what happens? At the end of the year, we're still in the same place as we were at the start of the year. And nothing has changed. We haven't changed, and nothing has changed for us. And this applies to both the personal and the business goals. And a great quote I heard recently, but I don't know who it actually is from. And the way it goes is this: it's not the years of our lives that counts, but it's the life in our years. So it's the amount of work, it's the amount of effort that we put into achieving our goals, working on ourselves. That's what really matters. So this is a quote by Jim Rohn, and I just love a good Jim Rohn quote. Could you just put in the chat if you've ever heard of Jim Rohn? Brilliant guy. Yes, Jackie, he is indeed. No. Okay, no. Jim Rohn was an American entrepreneur and a motivational speaker. And if you ever are feeling, a wee bit lost, or your goals are they're not going the direction that you want, look up a quote from John Rohn on Google. There's loads of quotes there. He is absolutely brilliant. He is so inspiring. And this is one quote that I really love from him around the whole subject of goal setting. Don't set goals for what you will achieve, but rather for what it will make of you in order to achieve it. So I'll just say that again. Don't set goals for what you will achieve, but rather for what it will make of you in order to achieve it. So for me, the important part of setting goals is not just to achieve more, to become more in myself along the way. Like we're striving and working towards our goals in order to become better versions of ourselves. So when I'm setting goals, I focus on how will this make me grow as a person? Like, what am I going to learn from it? What am I going to achieve? How is it actually going to work for me and make me grow? Is it going to take me outside my comfort zone? Is it going to stretch me as a person? And an example of one of my goals for 2021 was I wanted to work on my speaking skills. And it was a goal that I had from 2020. And I carried it on into 2021 because I just I felt that I still needed to do a lot more work on it. So last year I joined the Speakers Academy, which had plenty of professional speakers in it as well. And I took up the challenge of doing an 8-minute talk within the academy, and I was to do it in June of last year. So I had a few months to prepare for it. But I tell you what, I had that talk changed about 2 or 3 times before I actually got to doing it. But anyway, not only did I achieve the goal, but I definitely grew as a person too. You know, I had such a fear of speaking, and it really took me outside my comfort zone. And it really showed me too, you know, if we can really override our limited self-beliefs, you know, we are on the right path. Because there are times when we think, no, we'll never be able to do that. But unless we stretch ourselves and unless we really are willing to take that chance, you know, we'll never know. So our goals are only as good as the soil we plant them in. So goals will only take root in cultivated soil. And by that I mean is, like, there's no point in just pulling a goal out of the air and thinking, I think I'll do this. So we need to ask ourselves, why do we want this goal? What's the intrinsic motivator here for me? Like, what am I going to get out of this? So it would be a bit like me saying, just pulling a goal out of the blue. Okay, Edwina and I do our 5K on a Saturday, and me turning around saying, I think I'll apply for the Newry half marathon now in May. I should be able to do it. Okay, having hope in hell, not unless I had put a load of planning in for it and knowing why I wanted to do it, what I was going to get out of it. It just wouldn't work. So at the end of the day, a goal without a plan is just a wish. It's never going to happen. So we need to be motivated. We need to know our why we want to do that goal. And we really need to have a positive attitude too, because we need to be happy doing it and passionate about it. If it's the goal we really want to achieve, I always find I get more passionate too towards the end of it, when I know that I am just getting there. I just really, really go for it to get to the finish line. But no matter how many times we set goals, no matter how many times we work through goals, like, these are goals, small and big, 9 out of 10 times we're always going to hit a wall. And there'll be stages when we say, this just isn't working for me. But if we go back to our why and reconnect with it, you know, we can get back on track again. And I suppose that was like me for my example at the speaker school last year. When I was doing the talk, I hit a wall so many times. I kept changing my subject. I think I got the third time. It just was not feeling creative at all. I think I got the third time and I thought, I'm giving up here. But I went back to my why am I doing this? What do I want to get out of this? And once I had myself talked around it again, I was fine. So we will always hit a wall, but as long as we keep getting up, we'll keep moving forward. So it's okay setting the goals and knowing what we want to do for the year, but an important part of the goal setting too is reflection. So we really need to look and see, what am I taking forward from last year? What am I taking forward from 2021? And what do I want to leave behind? And I know for me, what I would want to leave behind from 2021 is just overconsumption of news. You know, when I would have been going to work last year, driving in the car, I'd be listening to news in the morning. I'd be listening to the news coming home. You'd be talking about it in work, talking about news to customers, then maybe getting another few intakes of news on the television later on that evening too. And I just find that overconsumption of the news, you're just absorbing so much negativity inside, and it just isn't good. So this year, I am deciding one news bulletin a day will do me. It will not affect my energy levels. I'll still keep my positive energy there. And what am I taking forward? Well, I would be into a lot of, I love reading personal development books. And I just noticed last year, any of the books that I was reading, like, a lot of them had great information in them, but I wasn't implementing any of it. So what I've decided this year is to make sure that as I am reading them, that I am taking notes of what I want to take action on and implementing it into my life. So that's what I'm taking this year. So have a wee think about what you want to leave behind and what you want to take forward before you start setting your goals too. And just on that as well, you know, while you're reflecting on 2021, you know, the 5 points to remember is, like, there must be something there that you're most proud of. And I know what I'm most proud of would have been doing that talk last June and having it done by the end of the year, which was brilliant. It was great having it over. And even though I hit the wall so many times, I still come back to my why and I still achieved it. What have we achieved last year? You know, if you have a wee look and think about what different things you have achieved, big or small. For me, I went on the Kerry Camino last October. Edwina was with me too. We walked 57 miles in 3 days, and it was great. You know, we just left Newry, went away down to Kerry, met up with a group and walked with them for 3 days and back up again. And it was really, really brilliant. Really was. There were times when we thought, oh, will we bother? But we did it, and it was great. And we learned so much as well. What have I overcome? 2021, 2020 and 2021 were the years to overcome quite a lot for everybody. And I know what I overcame was the sense of panicking. There just seemed to be so much going on with COVID, and, you know, going into work as well, and maybe, you know, staff not coming in because of COVID, you know, being careful of social distancing, different things, even maybe forgetting to go for appointments, loads of things. So what I have learned to do now, instead of panicking, is just taking a deep breath, just getting myself into a space where I'm calming myself, just breathing and gently coming back into myself again. So panicking, totally overrated. What have I learned about myself? Well, what I have learned about myself, and I'd say a lot of you will be in the same boat, is resilience. Definitely resilience. 2020 and 2021, our resilience levels were definitely tested with COVID. You know, we've been through lockdown, we've been through restrictions, a lot of people having to readjust to working from home, maybe get into the office a couple of days as well, having to do homeschooling, all of that. And look how much everybody has bounced back. Look how far we've all come with this. So I would say resilience is definitely one for me, and I'd say it's definitely what everybody else has learned about themselves in the last 2 years too. And have a wee think too about a goal that you wanted to achieve for a while, but that you haven't yet. Maybe something that you could maybe implement this year. Maybe it's not convenient for you yet, but you know, there's something there that you do want to do, and you could maybe start putting a plan in place. One goal that I have wanted to achieve for a while, but I haven't yet, I would love to do a TEDx talk, but I will put it in my goals for 2023. But at least this year, I can have a think about it. I can do a wee bit of homework on it, a wee bit of research, maybe start thinking about a few subjects that I do want to talk about. So, but I know it's not going to be convenient for me to do it this year, and I certainly wouldn't be ready for it this year, but I would put myself forward for it in 2023. So I'm sure there's things there too that you could think of that you want to do, but you just haven't had a chance to put them in place yet, or it's just not the right time. So those are 5 reflections of 2021 that you could be having a wee think about just before you start doing your goals. Maybe things that you want to take from 2021, things you want to leave behind, and, you know, areas in your life that you know you do want to work on. So okay, so Wheel of Life, just could you just put in the chat there if you've ever heard of the Wheel of Life? Yes, it's brilliant, says Edwina. Yes, a lot of people have. No, yes, no, Ashleen, no, Olivia. Okay, so we better a mixture of the two. Okay, so a Wheel of Life is a way where you can take a good hard look at your life, different areas of your life, and rate its quality level, so you can see what area needs more attention, because some areas of our lives need more attention than others. And you can look at each area like a spoke of a wheel, and when one spoke is shorter than the other, it just throws the whole thing off balance. So with this particular Wheel of Life, there's 8 segments. So it starts at the top left-hand corner with business, career, health, fitness, finances, fun, personal growth, spouse, partner, spiritual, and family, friends. So, you know, different segments will apply to different people, and you may not have all those segments, and you may have segments that you want to put in that aren't on that as well. But those would be the 8 main ones, and you could decide that you wanted to work maybe on 4 or 5 of them. So it's really about discovering where the gaps are between where you are now and where you want to be. So after all the reflecting and having the right mindset, we can now sort of look at setting the goals now within these different areas that we want to. So I'm just going to show you just an example of one that I have done here. I'm going to hit on a few of them here now. It's fun. I've given myself 50%. There's not enough fun in my life. I'd say it could be the same for a lot of people here too. We're not able just to do as much as what we would have liked with COVID, etc. So I've decided this year I'm definitely going to get a lot more fun into my life. I'm definitely going to plan a lot more outings and a lot more of connection with friends and that as well. Cinema, meals out and that. So definitely need a lot more fun. Spiritual there, I've given myself 80%. And for anybody who doesn't know, spiritual is it's not religion. Spiritual really is, your connection with yourself, just going within and really reflecting on you as a person, and just, it's a lot of soul work. I would give myself 80% for that, because I would do a lot of meditation in the mornings, and I do journaling as well. There's definitely areas I still could improve on, so I will do a wee plan for the other 20% on that. Family and friends have given 70. I'm now self-employed, so I have that wee bit more flexibility now that I can go and spend more time with my parents. So I would schedule maybe that in this year to that goal. Health and fitness, 80% I've given, because I do love my workouts in the morning. I do love my runs on the towpath on the Saturday, and I love my climbs up the mountain. But maybe I could still work a bit on the food and the wine at the weekend. Maybe could take a wee hit there too. So those are just examples of where, you could work on your wheel of life. So I was just wondering if you just take a couple of wee minutes yourselves there now and just reflect on the wheel of life. If you want to just give yourselves a wee score, just draw out the wheel, whatever segments that you want to work on yourselves. And if you just take a couple of minutes just to give yourself just a rough score of where you are, and then it will give you a bit of guidance as to what you want to do, to achieve your goals for this year. So just 2 minutes. Just put a wee bit of music there. Okay, I'm just going to cut that short there, because I know I am running out of time here. So I am just going to go into, you can spend more time in that yourselves whenever you get a moment. I'm just going to go to the next slide here, and it's a vision board. A vision board is where, you can actually see your goals visually. So if you're a visual person, it's really nice maybe to keep it up as a screensaver, or put it on the fridge door, or stick it up in the bedroom or somewhere, even just where you're passing and you just happen to be glancing at it, and it sort of brings your goals back into focus. That was mine for last year. I had my wee speaker school book and things there that I had for the academy, just to remind me to keep my focus on that. I have my relationships down here too, my health and fitness, my spirituality, we picture of David G meditating, myself and Edwina on our towpath, and just photographs with friends there too. And it's just all those goals really help, you know, and all those goals are really unique to you. So they don't have to be huge. They can just be, you know, I want to reach out to 2 people this week. That could be your family and friends goal. So there's nothing over arduous about goal setting whatsoever. And I'm just going to end the section on this wee quote here. So it's just that people with goals succeed because they know where they are going. And that's by Earl Nightingale. So I'm just going to hand you over to Edwina here now, and she's going to take you through the rest of it.
Thank you, Caroline. Okay. So good morning, everybody, and I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Can everybody see my screen okay? Just put in the chat that you can see and you can hear me okay. Yeah, okay. And as you can see, there is a lady in my house. I am working from home here this morning, so she might pop up to say hello to me here during the presentation, or she might bark if there's somebody passing the window. So I just wanted to share that with you before I started. That is my wee Jasmine. So she is in the house here this morning with me also. So thank you, Tony, for the opportunity this morning. And Caroline and I are delighted to share our learnings with you all here this morning. And I would like to take the opportunity to mention 2 individuals who have inspired us on our goal setting, and that is Jerry Duffy and Amanda Delaney. And we have spent the last 2 weekends doing workshops, and Tony, rightly so, caught me after the first one, and straight away it was on to me, would you share this with the chamber members? And of course I said yes before I could talk myself out of it. So you're actually getting today, we spent 2 weekends, so that's 2.5 days we've done in basically 1 hour. And it's some of the key takeaways that we've learned in the last 2 weekends, but also things that we have put into practice for the last just over 3 years now. This is the length of time we're doing it. So where I'm at the minute, I'm in the middle of planning my year for 2022, and I always take the month of January to do that, and that's both from a business and personal perspective. And I would only have achieved what I have achieved in the last number of years, and it was just pre-COVID that I would have always been very structured, always very focused, but I'm refining it, I'm getting better year on year. And as Caroline mentioned, you know, we have been accountable to each other in the last, we're going into our 3rd year now, and that has been hugely beneficial. But I suppose if there's 3 words that I wanted you to take away here this morning, and that's we've been insistent, consistent, and persistent. So those are the 3 things that we have been doing that has got us to the level that we are. And I've no doubt that we are going to knock it out of the park in 2022, because we've already demonstrated that in the last 2 years, both from a business and a personal point of view. So I hope this morning, after you leave, that you'll leave inspired, motivated. And if you can take one thing away this morning, then that's fantastic. So thank you, Caroline, who has clearly helped set the mindset for goal setting. And she's shown us how our goals need nourishment, and they're only as good as the soil we plant them in. But they're also vital for shaping the person that we become. And if you haven't used the wheel of life before, I would encourage you to use it when setting personal goals, and then follow on with your vision board. This has been a game changer for me. So I'm going to try and bring in a business perspective, because I'm very conscious that we have some business owners, entrepreneurs here this morning. But what I share with you here is also going to be useful for setting personal goals. So 2022, another year of uncertainty, potentially, and doubt lingers. Lockdowns potentially threaten. And leaders like you are once again being asked to face down the unknown. To be successful in this new normal, planning is vital. And an essential part of planning is setting goals. But what if you don't know what they should be or how to set them? Because after all, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. So I have many goal setting tips to share with you, but I'm going to share with you my top 5. So why have goals? Now, Caroline has already introduced you to Jim Rohn, and you'll see throughout our presentation this morning, we're a huge fan of Jim Rohn. So Jim Rohn, famous quote, "Goal setting is powerful because it provides focus. It shapes our dreams. It gives us the ability to hone in on the exact actions we need to perform to achieve everything we desire in life." Now, you'll actually be hearing from Jim at the end of my presentation because he's going to ask you 4 questions. So we have the opportunity now going into 2022. Here's what my year is going to look like. Here's what's going to happen in my business. So Caroline touched in her presentation about reflection. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look back. So I might just ask you to pop in the chat, why do you think we should look back? See, we love to interact with the audience. We're not going to do all the work here this morning, folks. So why do you think we should look back? Yes, to improve going forward. Getting a couple of comments in here. To see what's good and what was bad. We need to see where we succeeded. Brilliant, yes. Recognize wins and failures and analyze. Fantastic. So my advice to you is never start a year without reviewing the last one. Before we start a year, it's imperative to reflect. We can't expect to be successful in the future if we don't learn from our past. But remember, knowledge is only power if you put it to use. If you have a learning from 2021, it's only useful if you put it to use in 2022. So when I'm reflecting on my goals from my previous year, this is something I use. So basically, I break my reflection into my successes, my hidden wins, and my learnings. So as you reflect on your year, ask yourself, and you can use this from a business or a personal point of view, what were my successes in 2021? So some of my successes, my business successes, I introduced a 5-year plan into my current workplace. I introduced a health and wellbeing initiative. From a personal point of view, I achieved my coaching accreditation. I also did the Kerry Camino along with my accountability buddy. And I also attended a speaker school. I did a number of speaking engagements in 2021. And those were all successes for me. The hidden wins. Now, I had intended from a health perspective to lose more weight. And that might be seen as a failure. But actually, I have improved my level of fitness. I might not have got to the target that I intended, but my fitness has improved. So that is a hidden win. I also had set myself a goal to read 10 books last year, but I only read 8. But I still achieved a certain percentage of that goal, and I've increased my knowledge in doing so. So again, that is another hidden win. And then the health and wellbeing initiative that I introduced into the workplace, there was one wee element that we didn't achieve, but we achieved 90% of it. And as a result of that, we improved communication within the organisation. We brought different departments and depots together. So that was another hidden win. So I would encourage you just to reflect on your successes and on your hidden wins. And then the learnings. What were the learnings for 2021? And you can further add to that by using Caroline's analogy of What am I going to leave behind and what am I going to take forward? Because maybe some of the learnings you don't want to bring into 2022. Okay. So that takes me on to my 5 goal setting tips, which I'm going to share with you here this morning. So these tips can be used for both personal or business. So my first tip, tip number 1, you must see it first. Whenever I set my goals for the year ahead, whether it's business or personal, I have a picture in my mind of what I want to achieve. I have a picture from a business perspective, but I also have a picture from a personal perspective. If you were to draw your business success in 2022, what would you see? You're the person who will be seeing it. So don't think that you have to create a beautiful painting. Just draw it on a blank piece of paper. You might not know this, but Walt Disney, who created Disneyland, he first seen a mouse. Last year, when I was setting my goals for 2021, and I'm looking at my vision board in front of me here this morning, I had a picture of a microphone on my vision board. I also had a graduation hat, and I had lots of other things. And having those visual images, I went on to achieving those goals that I set myself for last year. Tip number 2, be specific. There's no point in setting a goal if you don't have specifics against it. So from a personal point of view, if we take fitness and I want to lose 14 pounds, that's too woolly. You need to be more specific and put a date and a time as to when you want to achieve that. If you asked a pilot to take you to America, he wouldn't take you to America. If you said to him, take me to New York, would he take off? No, he wouldn't take off. The pilot will want to know the exact airport. He will want to know what terminal, because we know there's lots of airports in America. We know there's lots of terminals. So if we pick New York City, John F. Kennedy, he want to know the date, he want to know the time. We need to be specific whenever we are setting our goals. So when you have a clear goal in mind, challenge yourself to be specific. From a business perspective, I want to grow my customer base. You could replace that with, I want to reach out to 6 more leads every week. My tip number 3, and that's around why. And Caroline has already touched on this in her presentation. Now, why is designed to help you whenever you hit a brick wall and whenever you lose momentum or you lose motivation or you lose confidence. When you connect with your why, you create emotion, and emotion creates motion. So I would encourage you, whenever you're setting your goals for 2022, business or personal, write down why beside each of them. And whenever you hit a wobble day, and we all get those wobble days, even I get those wobble days, go back to your goal and reconnect with your why. Tip number 4, regular check-ins. And most people don't do this. Most people who set goals at the start of the year, they don't check in until the end of the year. Again, I would challenge yourself, check in on your goal every month. And if you can do it every week, because that's what Caroline and I did from a personal point of view. From a business perspective, I would check on the goals more so on a monthly basis. But you know what you need to do in your own life and in your business. And whenever you're checking in, ask yourself, what have I done this week or this month that is evidence that I'm actually going to achieve this goal? And as you all know, as well as checking in, I have my accountability buddy. And that accountability buddy holds me accountable, not only for what I do, but for what I don't do. So tip number 5, my last tip in setting goals, is to get uncomfortable. If you want to achieve above average results, you must do above average things. And there's a famous quote by Tony Robbins: if you always do what you've always did, you'll always get what you've always gotten. So if you want to increase your sales in your business, you want to increase turnover, that's not going to happen organically. There might be a wee bit of luck along the way, but we've got to get uncomfortable. We've got to do something different that we've never done before. So that takes me on to my next time. We're okay, Tony. My next tip, and that is time. So our goals are achieved in a thing that's called time. If there was a time management guru on your shoulder watching your use of time in your business or in your personal life for 2021, what score would he give you? In fact, put in the chat, if you were to be scored out of 10 for your time management in 2021, what scores would you get? Okay, we're seeing some low scores coming in here. We're all guilty of it. Yeah, 6. Okay, Caroline's time is good, but she's putting the work in. Good, okay. We all have the same time, and we all get the exact amount of time to get things done. However, we prioritise time differently. And the most important time in your week is the time before you go into your week. Don't assume anything about the year ahead or about the week ahead. You must plan it. I heard a great quote last week in one of our workshops, and it was, a monthly budget is where you tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I'll say that again. A monthly budget is where you tell your money to go instead of wondering where it went. We can apply the exact same principle to our week, to our month, to our year, and it's all about planning. So this leads perfectly into my first tip on time management. The first way to win your week, win your year, win your month is to plan. It's very obvious. Set aside 20 minutes to plan your entire week ahead. Don't just make your week up as you go along. You decide in advance what goals you want to achieve this week. You need to figure out what your high priority goals are. For example, if you're planning maybe to revamp the business website or come up with new services, or if you want to reach out to 9 customers, or from a personal perspective, if you're planning to run a 10K, what do you need to do to make that happen? From my personal experience, I take every Sunday to plan the week ahead. And we've all heard the saying, either you run the week or the week runs you. And if I didn't do that on a Sunday, I wouldn't have achieved what I have done in the last number of years. And I would be running around firefighting all the time. So I would encourage you to take time, not on a Monday, on a Sunday, 20 minutes is all it takes, and plan your week in advance. And do that for both your business and from a personal point of view. My second tip, and this is a game changer and has been a game changer for both myself and Caroline, both from a personal and a business perspective. And that's Check-in Wednesday. And Check-in Wednesday is about accountability. So apart from Caroline, has anybody here on the call today, on the webinar this morning, heard of Check-in Wednesday? If you have, type in Y for yes in the chat. Yes, we've some Ys. Okay, no, Tony hasn't. This will be one, Tony, you'll use, definitely. So Check-in Wednesday is fantastic because what you're doing is you're examining your list halfway through the week. We all make the mistake not make the mistake, but we all wait till maybe Friday to check the goals, the progress on the goals that we've set for the start of the week. By checking in on a Wednesday, we're actually giving ourselves a better chance of achieving those goals before it comes to Friday and it's too late. And especially if you have high priority goals, it gives you the opportunity to work on those sooner, as opposed to leaving them and maybe having to bring them into the following week. This is something that I've also introduced into the workplace and around meetings. So on Monday, you have your focus for the week, which is your plan. Wednesday is your check-in, where you basically review the goals that you've set for the week. And then Friday, look back and review the previous week or the week that you've just gone through. So my last tip is to score your week. And this is in terms of time. Now, this is something new I'm going to introduce this year, and this came from one of the workshops that we attended in the last couple of weekends. And basically to look at, how was my time? How effective was I? And I have a quote above there. It's not about the hours you put in, it's about what you put into the hours. So it's very important that we manage our time and we don't overcommit ourselves thinking that if we've loads in the diary, because sometimes that's it's not achievable. And when you're reviewing and scoring your week, remember, success leaves clues. So you'll know what's working and what's not working. So before we finish this morning, I first would like to ask you, just between the goal setting and the time management, what was the most valuable for you this morning? If you want to just put into the chat there, what do you think you could use? The whale, okay. Tony has said the whale. Specific goals and check-in Wednesday. Thanks, Jackie. The reflection, Marion, thank you. Time management. Okay, so plenty enjoying the whale and the check-in as well, which is brilliant. Reflection, time management, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to consider 4 questions, and you're going to hear the voice of Jim Rowan. I mentioned earlier he was going to ask you 4 questions at the end. So I would encourage you, you don't have to, but I think you might get more out of it, to maybe close your eyes, and every time I hear this, it's a wee 3-minute video, and it fires me up all the time. And once again, we were introduced to this fantastic individual, Jim Rowan, by Jerry Duffy, and I have listened to this so many times. So I'm going to ask my accountability buddy, Caroline. She is going to just play. Caroline is not accountable here. She's away in a different world here. So sit back. It's 3 minutes. Close your eyes. And Caroline, whenever you're ready.
Caroline's on mute.
You need to unmute, Caroline. Okay.
Why try to learn this much? Why study? Why put yourself out? Why try to earn as much as you can earn, share as much as you can share? Why try to become all that you can possibly become? Why develop yourself to the full? Why try to do it all? Why try to take on this much responsibility? Develop every skill you possibly can. See every human you possibly can. Go to every class you possibly can. Touch everybody you possibly can. Why do that much? Why go that far? Why share that much? Why give that much away? Why try to see everything? Why try to do everything? Why try to become everything? The first question to ponder when you go home is why. Here's another good answer to why. It's the second question. Why not? Why not see how much you can earn? Why not see how much you can learn? Why not see how many skills you can develop? Why not see what kind of person you can become? Why not see what kind of influence you can have? Why not see how many people you can rescue from oblivion? I want you to make that personal. Why not? Why not? You've got to stay here till you go. I mean, what else are you going to do? Why not see how much you can do, how far you can go? Now, here's number 3. Why not you? You've got the brains. You can make decisions. You can study the plan. You can change your life. You can grow immensely in the next few years. You can make your dreams come true. You can build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. You can become healthy. You can become powerful. Why not you? My very last question on the questions to ponder is why not now? There never was a better time. And what a time now for us to take this dream and not let it die. Take this dream and give it life. Take this dream and breathe into it your own personal spirit until finally it becomes a flame that burns around the whole world.
Four great questions. Why? Why not? Why not you? Why not now? Thank you to Tony once again for the opportunity, and thanks to Caroline for assisting me this morning. And thank you to you, the audience, for taking time out to listen and join us this morning. Remember, I said at the start, knowledge is only power when you put it to use. Thank you.
Thank you.